There we go, there we go, there we go. From my old neighborhood where I used to do laundry right there to the freestyle rock and roll. From my old neighborhood, we go for a special Dragon versus Storm. I'm gonna put on the gloves and auctioning everything that I'm wearing. Yours truly. Thursday, February 20th. Yours truly. Hey, ask your artist, athlete, philosopher on the march again. Got those snow mountains round about the island of Montreal, and we gotta get it on the go and gotta get it on the gratitude. You know how it is. We're gonna begin with gratitude. Grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. And we're gonna go a little bit on the zigzag. Maybe tomorrow we went by the mountain, but now I feel like going a little bit towards the water. Maybe. See where we're heading. A little bit of that march, encouraging all to work out, train, exercise, special rock and roll. You know how it's my holy trinity of special interest, aka obsessive interest, and it's geopolitics 24/7, being an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist and artist, and sports and fitness. Dancing is my favorite sport. Dancing is my favorite sport. Love to dance. And yours truly, rock and roll always for the firefighters, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, all involved in the production and the distribution of food. From liable, Privee, Quebec, Canada, this Quebecer Canadian who was born 3 times, once as a woman, twice as a man, has served in the same United States Army post 70-76, 2 different wars, same army. For that North American Union, my dream is fundamentally a call for the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Pledge your allegiance for the North American Collective Union, Dragon Union. For Canada, United States, I don't know about that 51st state. Don't know about that 51st state. Don't know about that 51st state. I do know that we got to fuse, do a census, North American census, make a common passport, common currency, and common defense security force, Dragon Army initiative, only solely. And strictly for defense, reconstruction, rebuilding, for defense, security, and service. Financially stressed at the moment, just financially stressed, but grateful, thankful. My rent's paid my rent, paid my electricity bill, got food and got coffee, and got the backpack, red backpack, got the backpack, and got those red gloves by which I'm challenging Donald Trump since 2018 when Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel at 10%, and now with the 25% threats looming on the horizon, no tariffs, Dragon versus Trump. Let's build together the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, North American People's Imperial Coliseum, North American Imperial People Coliseum. I don't know about that 51st state. I do believe in the fusion and the dream, the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, and there's a Democratic Republican. Invite us properly. Us Canadians got that Canada tatted up. And of course, we are North Americans. We are a North American collective. Canada, US, little brother, little sister, big brother, big sister, big family. To all my brothers and sisters in the USA, pledge your allegiance, our family. Invite us properly with some partying across the 50 states. Invite us to fuse, join. Here we're North through strong and free, North strong and free. We gotta add some of that LOV to that through North strong and free, you know, because LOV is that action, you know, and we gotta add some of that. So that's why it is the rock and roll song for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the plumbers, all those who made less than 50,000 Canadians, and my brothers and sisters in the USA in 2024, myself included, you know. It's not all about the money, the Wall Street, but we gotta find solutions. My PPP, public-private partnership, and Trinity theories, the CIT, citizen integration theory, the DRT, debt row fusion theory, and the democratic fusion theory, best at this point in time where we have reached across the world with a World War III looming on the horizon. And I predicted it one in 2019 in October, November as an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist. I have predicted the international conflagration, which has been happening in the past during COVID, and something in my eye, and I gotta state, because I'm celebrating, it's a special March celebrating 5 years. Between February 7th and March 24th, 2020, I had COVID. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. I know when I say it was like death, pestilence, and disease, sounds like a hardcore death metal trash song, and a trash metal song, or an album of a thrash metal song. That's how it sounds like, death, pestilence, and disease. But that's how I felt like, and in many ways I died of COVID in my underground room of St. Temple being reborn. Nothing that I want to go back to pledge your allegiance, friends, to benefits only. Here has been a good job with the snow removal operations. I see some places better than others. I guess we're at 25% now. It's going to be better in the few days on Monday because we got hit hard. But anyways, back to what I was saying, part of the Dragon versus Trump initiative and will to build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the Forgotten Goddess Temple. Forgotten Goddess Temple. Forgotten Goddess Temple. Because I created my surviving COVID and scars and trauma and living with RA, retrograde amnesia, and having survived depression, being suicidal and trauma and whatever, being surprise attacked a few times, across Montreal in the years past, and being an aspie, being neurodivergent, always got to construct, build bridges for the bridge builders of the 20th century, public workers, LOV, truckers, nurses, doctors, firefighters, plumbers, electricians, those making some sandwiches, some bacon, some cheese, some of that led us across North America in the fast food. We got to get it on the LOVE also, so invite us properly if you're going to propose us. Make us an invitation. Make us an invitation, because I'm going to propose again to an anonymous friend who in the past more than 7 years hasn't been my friend because of the money, because I never had any. Hasn't been my friend because of the money, because I never had any. Hasn't been my friend because of the money, because I never had any. So we got to get on that rock and roll as we go. And of course, it's Dragon versus Trump. Is that Dragon versus Trump for the North American Union, and invite us properly, not with tariffs, not with bullying, not with coercion, but with throw some parties, some of that good marching bands dancing, and some good singing, LOV, like the cheerleading of the Great Island, which I love, of course, although dancing is my favorite sport. Love a little bit of football, North American football, that CFL, NFL, please, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Please give some tickets to the public workers working that sanitation and reduce the ticket cost by 44.9%, We need to get a public-private partnership in that North American Collective Workers Party. That North American Collective Workers Party for that rock and roll, 24/7 rock and roll geopolitics. Always meditating now across the North American Collective coast to coast. The train conductors, invite us properly. My brothers and sisters in the USA, invite us properly, then more Canadians are going to consider it, because I think now is about 15, and I am no Trump supporter. I would have voted Kamala, would have definitely voted Kamala, but I am no Trump supporter. I was born in the United States 3 times, once as a woman, twice as a man, served in the United States Army post 70-76, 2 different wars, and now calling for all to implement Operation Northern Scorpio based on my total mobile defense theory system, total Total M, Mobile D, Total Mobile Defense Theory, TS, Total TM, Total Mobile, TMDT, Total Mobile Defense Theory, or TMDTS. You can have 5 letters as an acronym, or 4 letters, depending on the point in time. I'm not going to over-discuss it much in detail, because it's a matter of collective North American security. And yes, we have potential enemies across the oceans, That's what I always say, XYZ. So invite us properly. Make us honor that proper invitation, with some good, to good partying and some of that good cheerleading, dancing, and, with the cheerleading, and to proper invitation with some dancing, with some partying, with some LOV, with some invitation for tourism to see and visit those 50 states, and come visit us, Canada, here, my program, which I've written over the years ago for the initiative of the North American Collective Integrated Citizen Wellness via Tourism Initiative. It has a fancy academic style. I've written tens of thousands of pages for the North American Collective, first and foremost, and also NATO, and as much as I am a world peace advocate, in terms of geopolitics, I predicted what's happening now. Back to the tourism initiative, of course, it did me great good. In 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast. In 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast. 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast in August, and then in September, and that event completely changed my life. Before that, I was depressed, I was suicidal, and crossing Canada made me have a revelation to see how many, of course, things we have to do here to do, and how many things we have to do, and how many things we have as a common collective across North America, and I gotta watch my steps here because it's on down the hill. on the steep side, so I always got to meditate on that, you know. So that event completely changed my life. I was depressed, suicidal, crossing Canada, made me establish a strong esprit de corps, a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians, you know, with my fellow Canadians, and that's what it is. Established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians, and you know, that's gonna play that defense from now on. You know, we gotta play defense. North Americans unite and create a common currency, do a common passport. We don't need the border. We do not need the border. It's more efficient to focus coast to coast on the ports and the airports, on the ports and the airports, ports and the airports, and create a new complex for integrated security, defense and security and terrorizing system, you know, to get it on the go. And that's why we need to get it on the public-private partnership. Yours truly, as artist, athlete, philosopher, sending some LOV for the 50 states and cross Canada coast to coast, because it's here the true North, strong and free, as Canadians, you know, is basically uniting North and South in many ways, because my brothers and sisters in the USA, South, 50 states, and here Canada, true North, strong and free, you know. We got a common destiny. We're a new collective, emergent civilizational collective of my brothers and sisters, fellow Canadians. The king is absent. Where you at, King Charles? Where you at, King Charles? The king is absent. The king is not going to come fight for us if there's an invasion from China and Russia. The King Charles is not going to come fight invasion if there's an invasion coast to coast, ocean to ocean. The king is King Charles ever cross Canada coast to coast. The king is absent. It's time for the republic. It's time for the republic. It's time for the republic. The Democratic Republic of Canada, North American unite. For the collective, the North and the South, the true North, strong and free. And my brothers and sisters down south in the USA, it's the home of the brave, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. With us here, true North, strong and free, but strength and freedom and it ain't enough, eh? And bravery, strength and freedom is not enough. I can't just go with that. We gotta have some LOV, you know. If there's no love, what are we fighting for? Wall Street got their money, they paid good. Give some charity, millionaires, billionaires, please sign an executive order to rebuild the North American infrastructure in the North American ghettos. Sign an executive order to rebuild the North American ghettos. Sign an executive order to rebuild the North American ghettos, Mr. President. I would definitely give, if I would be a billionaire, let's go NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Give 10% for food security for the vets, and to rebuild the North American inner urban cities, aka the North American ghettos. Massive rebuilding of the infrastructure is needed, and firefighters, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, and bridge builders of the 20th century here from Montreal, Hawk Island, HAWK, Hawk Island Metropolis, 2.5 million city, my home in this life, in a parallel life, in a past life, on this 20th of February, 2025. Celebrating 5 years since I survived COVID. I thought I was gonna die, and in many ways I did die of COVID. I did die in many ways, you know. Born. It's nothing that I want to go back to. Living for today, carpe diem to the fullest with some HOP. I got that hope for tomorrow. Although, you know, it's been tough times myself, just financially stressed, and I got plenty of scars, plenty of things, but I'm yours, and just so I understand, friends with benefits only. Friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance, legions. Dollar family, Adrian Hanna Dragon. Androgynous pansexual, founder of the Dancing Goddess Dragon Kingdom, mystic, artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who has predicted the international conflagration that's occurring now back in 2019, and who has created a great, efficient, super excellent workout training program system which requires no equipment. And of course, I did myself more than 372 such workout training program system. Let's go give dragons some push-ups. You can see hundreds of my workout video. It's a simple, effective, but with rules and boundaries. It has a very much a complexity behind the simplicity. It's meant to increase general overall fitness, and it increases general overall fitness, and that's what it meant to do, because sports and fitness is my special interest, although dancing is my favorite sport and dancing is my favorite fitness activity, parallel to rock and roll and geopolitics, and do a little bit of meditation now on the cost of living. And of course I gotta say and state that my DRT theory, debt refusion theory, is the solution which has got to be implemented. And of course, my debt refusion theory has to be implemented at this point in time. Is an emergency. Maybe already the public financial collapse of Canada occurred due to the fact that just the interest payments has doubled during COVID from 2020 2021. So that is something which we got to keep in mind as I am here at the intersection, looking for a way where it's going to be more clean and for me to do the best way for me to continue down the path for my workout, marching, meditative march, and always grateful, thankful. My rent's paid my rent, paid my electricity bill. Go Hydro-Quebec, go. We got clean, zero pollution, zero emission energy here, coming from the hydroelectricity, the hydro dams, and paid my rent, paid my electricity bill. Got food, got coffee. Earlier, I picked up some good. Somebody had left a little bit of food, a little bit of muffins, slice of pizza, which I took, and she's gonna share 50-50, half with my anonymous friend, and another food item which I took for myself and for somebody else. So that's ready to go, rock and roll. A little bit of a reward, and when I come back after my workout, it's gonna be at least 5 hours, minimum 4 hours, maximum 6 today, because yesterday I did a long one, so I don't want to be overwork, a little bit of stressing, and gotta get a little bit of that massage. Cannot afford a massage therapy session, but you know what, millionaires, Wall Street billionaires, finance the public workers, firefighters, and finance those who pick up the garbage for that sanitation work across the North American Collectif, finance them a massage therapy session and some good spa for the bodies, a temple for pleasure and purpose. I cannot, of course, afford one myself, but I'm grateful, thankful I'm going to be able to take a bath as I did last week, and I think I'm going to have to take more baths, maybe one in the weekend, take 2 baths, double trouble. And tomorrow's going to be again geopolitics, rock and roll, and fitness and sports and marching dance as I do now. You know, I got my routines, and for many years it's interjections, and due to Asperger's being neurodivergent, because Asperger's is not a mental illness, it is a neurological mental divergent condition which makes people like myself predisposed to certain specific interests, special interests they're called, or aka obsessive interests, but do prefer to call them the appellation and the terminology interests, special interests rather than obsessive interests, because obsessive would be the marking as it is more of a negative terminology, while of course an obsession has a more negative connotation, while special interest is something which is more appropriate and conduit to the conduit of which the characteristic of somebody who's like myself, neurodivergent, who lives with Asperger's, aka high functioning autism, is something which you got to keep in mind, because I always got to build bridges between myself, part of a neurodivergent condition, and others is something which I got to do myself, and something which I got to work on. And had many employments during COVID, a few jobs, a few employments, and I'm always open for business. But this neurological mental divergent condition, which has still lots of misunderstandings in it, Aspies can be pretty intense, pretty super focused, pretty concentrated. So it's something which has to be mindful of that fact, that this is what it is for the point in time that Aspies, we are different, we have our differences, we're part of a tiny minority, less than 1%, less than half of a percentage, less than about 0.44% have this neurological mental divergent condition known as Asperger's. So being part of a tiny minority, you know, is something which is, it's always a dialogue on the communication wise, and in terms of the social awareness and social knowledge and social skills. People like myself with Aspies do not that well. We're less able in those areas. So we have other things, other skills, or other knowledge, wisdom, which can be compensatory to lacking other skills, and we tend to breach personal space and have not symptoms, because it's not an illness, but characteristics. Although a lot of people use symptoms, it's best to use characteristics of Asperger's, because again, it's not a mental illness, but it's something which is a neurodivergence. So the tendency to repeat words, to repeat what somebody else says, is officially the terminology is called echolalia. Echolalia comes from echo, or things of breaking the personal space, of not respecting or getting too close in conversation. So, you know, those are just the things of Asperger's. Enough about Asperger's now. How about the truckers, the butchers, the bakers, the truckers, the butchers, the nurses, those flipping some of those burgers, cheeseburgers, hamburgers? I gotta send them some LOV, and I think I found here where we're gonna go. Oh yeah, I found here we can go that way or that way, so we're just gonna go that way. See the highway. How about the truckers? Sending them some LOV. Read some of that French. What does it say? So you cannot go on the falaise, you know, there. Just be careful. You can go here on the side, but you cannot go to the other side during winter. Where's the it's called La Falaise, so you can't go in the park there where it's now because of a risk of fall. So, but you can go through the side here, you know, here by the side. So, anyways, grateful, thankful, rent paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. Gonna send some salutations, gonna send some LOVE, you know, as we're going through this march, and we're gonna go turn around about and do some of that rock and roll, discuss my theory, the DRT, and you know how we do. Now my mind, of course, focuses on geopolitics. As I see a truck, I see that truck and a trucker, LOVE, and I know that it's going west, and meaning that if it's going west, of course, I do gotta meditate what it's containing and see, because of geopolitics being my special interest, also known as obsessive interest, although I use the terminology special interest. Due to having that special interest, my mind now focuses on the highways, and all imagining this highway here specifically, and the train. See down below, you got the train down below. The train is going west, and of course all of these are infrastructure and whatever the train is carrying. LOVE, great salutation to the train conductors, great salutation to the train conductors, and always put it in a geopolitical perspective, because the train and its cargo is open for potential sabotage, and our highways also, you see, because my trinity of special interest is geopolitics. Fitness, sports, dancing is my favorite fitness activity, and sports, dancing is my favorite sport, and rock and roll. So being that when I see this train, I always interject, and my mind switches to my special interest, of which I can be super focused, super concentrated, and super intense about, and it's geopolitics. And I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, again, who has predicted what's happening now. So I've got to make a speculation. What's this train about? What does it carry? What is it carrying exactly? Sensitive, maybe oil looks like oil, or natural gas, or oil, or liquefied natural gas, you know, and we've got to meditate for security, safety. I know that it's going west, right? So having that knowledge, with some knowledge which I do not possess, but I do know my geopolitics, and I know that we made potential enemies, which are nuclear armed enemies, due to our involvement in providing armaments. So since we provided arms and weaponry, of course, it's a long one. Imagine all the brains and muscle who construct this. Respect, LOV, our civilization is a privilege, eh? All the machines, the internet, the infrastructure, the highways were built with brains and muscle. Thousands and tens of millions of public workers and private. It always takes a public-private partnership. You know, my dream is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership. So making this meditation, see, it's a long train. See, it's a long, big one. Long, big train conductors, rock and roll for them. So making a meditation that this train is potentially open for sabotage by exterior foreign armies, non-NATO aligned, non-NORAD, non-NATO aligned. And I remember now, about 6-7 years ago, when I written a theoretical paper for the Citizen Integrated Public-Private Partnership for the peaceful reconciliation with non-NATO member diaspora community groups. The Citizen Public-Private Partnership Initiative for the reconciliation with non-NATO member diaspora groups. The Public-Private Partnership Initiative, the Citizen Integrated Public-Private Partnership Initiative for the reconciliation with non-NATO aligned diaspora groups. So for having security, for security. It also always takes the security and liberty, because we cannot be overly too focused. Security, liberty, security, liberty, liberty, security, security, liberty, liberty, security. It's always a dance, and sometimes the public and the private, being the democratic Republican, a pro-labor, love revolutionary centrist. My revolutionary centrism is tied hand in hand with the North American complex, with North America. It's North American centric, because I am a Quebecer Canadian North American. Personally, I do not consider myself a member of a diaspora. I gotta be welcoming and enjoying all who come to join us here as a family, all who come to join us here as a family, all who come to join us here as a family. I gotta send some LOV to all who come to join us here as a family in the collective, all who come to join us here as a family in the collective. Always got to do meditation and that, and got to be meditating on what's happening now across the collective and across the world, and having predicted what's happening now. Back in 2019, again, I predicted an international conflagration, and ever since then I've been kind of on a World War III type of mode. I've been kind of in a World War III type of mode. I've been in a World War III type of mode since 2019, since October, November, and of course have been in the World War III type of mode ever since October, November 2019. I've been in the World War III scenario. So now I'm meditating, of course, on the civilizational complex of North America. See, wow. I already counted about 156. I'm gonna stop counting. 156 of the cargoes, not the locomotives, but the different cargoes, right? And there's another one parallel. That one parallel looks like it's a public, for the public transit one. So anyways, look, I kind of have a blurred vision, but from what I can see, I see the big trucks with the snow, because snow removal operations are ongoing. So anyways, back to what I was saying, the dictum, as I go on my marching workout now. Gonna go around about it and gonna split it in, and now I'm heading east, by the way. So what was gonna happen is I'm just gonna, once I end up where the train is, once the train ends, I'm just gonna turn about, or I guess I can keep going afterwards to see where all the way to the top. Oh yeah, see, this is closed, so you can't go there. Usually you're allowed to go there, but now you can't go there. Merci de rester sur le chemin principal. Merci de rester sur le chemin principal, sentier fermé. So that's French. That means thanks to staying on the main road. Thanks for staying on the main road. So this here, it's called the falaise, where sometimes you can go and do cleaning there. And, there's a landslide risk. So that's what I say. So it's telling us to stay on the main road here, because that's a nature habitat, and there's birds, right? There's birds. There's flora, fauna, and there's a lot of cleaning we need to do. That's why we need to get with that DGA, Dancing Goddess Army, implemented fast. We need to get with that DGA, Dancing Goddess Army fast. We need to get on that DGA to implement the DGA, the Dancing Goddess Army fast, the North American Integrated Dance League, So that's what we need to do. And for nature and civilization, we got to get that PPP. We don't need the border. It's best to build super computers and mega centers across North America for the fusion of Canada, US, and the Democratic Republic. My dream, the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. And to build, let's go, my brother Scorpio Bill Gates. Let's go, my brother Scorpio Bill Gates. Let's go, my brother Scorpio Bill Gates and others. A public power partnership where we have centers where we can monitor. Citizens can go monitor and can see volunteering needs, and can go volunteering for emergencies, or for wellness, or for recreation, or for painting some of the, doing some public works, and whatever the case may be, integrated based on my citizen integration theory to establish new centers where via the internet, via webcams, and integrate with the security services. We have Citizen integrated and see everything we have across the collective North American civilization from coast to coast. All the highways, the ports, the airports, all the highways, the ports, the airports, all the highways, the ports, the airports, monitoring, security surveillance, and integrated citizen joy, participatory, integrated citizen joy, participatory, integrated security joy, participatory, integrated security joy of, volunteering and citizen integration for security service and defense, for security service and defense only. For my theories are strictly for theories, the Trinity theories. My theories and dream is fundamentally for the North American collective, for security, defense, liberty, and rebirth, or renewal, if you will, renewal. So to build those complexes across the North America, where citizens themselves can go and assist and do my workout, finance fitness. It's time to finance fitness. Created a workout training program system which is effective, simple, and efficient, and it requires no equipment. So I feel good. But keep in mind, I'm already about 2 hours plus in, right? Because I started my filming later, like 2 hours in already. So that's also something which gotta get meditation on. That so I didn't start filming right away, but always got double socks. Auctioning the socks that I'm wearing, the underwear, the pants, the jackets. Thank you to my anonymous friend who bought me the blue jacket and a gray jacket and this lion little like bag, and many of the socks. I think 2 pairs, because I'm wearing 3 pairs. I think maybe all 3 pairs are a gift from my anonymous friend. So auctioning them for $1 million, gonna give half 50% to my friend and pay my $10,000 debt and buy the first bricks to build the forgotten goddess temple. Goddess GODDSS temple goddess. That's my will, WILL. In part parallel to bury me with Papa Crowley in Hampton, New Jersey. In Hampton, New Jersey, a third of me, 1/3 on the Mount Royal, and 1/3. So you got 3 different spots, and 1/3 in the city of the pyramids near Cairo there. So split me up in 3, I guess. But not today. Today I still want to go home and get home by 11:44 latest. Get home by 11:44 latest and do a little bit of midnight special androgynous rainbow dragon pansexual BDSM switch cuckold masturbation. No need to spy on me. Secret services of China, don't cross the Atlantic. No, correction, the Pacific. The Russian secret services, they gotta cross the Atlantic. No need. Part of the LGBTQ community, and if I get married, I don't mind that cuckold, being a cuckold. You don't know my secrets. I don't try to blackmail a rainbow dragon with anything. I have cuckold fantasies, BDSM switch fantasies, interracial loving fantasies. I do. Men, women, I gotta be 18 though. Gotta card you like a club, Gotta be 18. Or in some states, I guess 19, in some states 21. Here in Montreal, you gotta be 18 plus. I'm gonna card you. Hey, show me your card. You wanna come loving with me? Women, men, black, white, rainbow. Show me your card, you're gonna get carded, You gotta be born. Gotta be 18 plus. Anyways, gotta get that rock and roll for the farmers and the butchers and the bakers and the nurses. Hopefully somebody making some LOV tonight, Hug like you never hugged before with consent is the main message of all this blah 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 that I said. The main message is the resume today with consent, or tomorrow when you hear this, next year, whatever. Hug like you never hugged, HUG. Hug like you never hugged before. Hug like you never hugged before. Hug like you never hugged before. Hug like you never hugged before is the main message. HUG. Hug like you never hugged before is the main message. Hug like you never hugged before. It's another train. I don't know if it's static or what's happening. Maybe awaiting some orders. But you know, we got that fused last 2023. Kansas, Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Rail, CP, KC. They merged. And for the first time since 2023, we now can go by rail Canada, US, Mexico. Before we couldn't. Now the three countries are linked by the rail for the first time, and I believe it's one of the biggest in the world. A railway merges of companies, if not the biggest. So my dream is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership across North America. The implementation of my DRT is a must. Now I'm going to discuss the DRT theory, debt refusion theory, before I forget, because it's super important. So what is the DRT theory? The DRT theory stands for D, debt, R, refusion, and T for theory. So the debt refusion theory has integrated in it the monetary integration theory, monetary integration theory, monetary integration theory. Oh, I'm going deep a bit. It's good for the knee. It's going to get exercise. So in my DRT, debt refusion theory, is integrated in it monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory, which was implemented in the European Union. So inside, integrated in my theory, financial theory, known as the DRT, debt refusion theory, is integrated the monetary integration theory. So I'm making the statement that my theory, or something very similar, which resembles my theory, has to be implemented across Canada, both US, because we both have reached record public and private debt levels. Both Canada and US have reached record public and private debt levels. Both Canada and the USA, we have reached debt, personal, public and private record debt levels, the DEBT, the debt. So keep in mind, and you can check these numbers with the Bank of Canada, Tiff Macklin, my uncle Tiff Macklin, Bank of Canada, and check it out, auntie Christian Freeland, you know. Gotta check the numbers for yourself. So we now paid last year, 2024, on the public debt of Canada. The interest which we paid on the public debt of Canada was 46.5 billion in interest. 46.5 billion in interest. 46.5 billion in interest. That's 46,000 million. That's 46,000 million. 46,000 million just interest. In 2020, 2021, the number was 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion. That's still a big number. 20.3 billion. A billion having 9 zeros being the equivalent of 1 billion equivalent, 1,000 million. That means that it was 20,300 million, right? And it more than doubled. If you do the math from 20.3 to 46.5 billions, it is more than double, because double 20.3 is 40.6. It was 46.5 last year, which we debt servicing just the interest, solely just the interest paid on the public debt. Yes, due to COVID. That's the programs which had to be implemented for the continuity of the population. But of course, for all we know today, a public black swan event began in the public finances, and we can see the crash starting tomorrow, Monday, by the end of February, early March. Right the next day, if those tariffs are implemented on the 4th, hopefully my DRT theory best. But that's what we gotta be doing. So that's what we gotta be saying, and that's what we gotta be doing with it. So my DRT theory best, debt refusion theory best, the debt refusion theory best, the DRT theory best. So yours truly, all the public and the private, but the private also has increased tremendously. But keep in mind that the interest only has doubled, more than doubled. And put it in the public financial mathematical principles. If some citizens debt, myself, I have no credit cards. I do not have credit cards. I have a Royal Bank of Canada credit line. And I got $10,000 in debt due to 2 weeks ago, Bank of Canada, because it's tied in with the central banking system and it's lowered the interest right, on the point of lending, that means that my debt servicing, aka the interest paid, goes down. So I pay less than 11 now, less than 11%. It's like 10.9. At one point it was 13.3%, like last year, October, November, September, October, November, I think it was 13.3 last year. During COVID, at one point it was the highest I ever paid, 13.3. But some pay 18 plus, 20 plus, even 25 on some credit cards, right? So that's a quarter of every dollar. That's a lot. So we need to put a cap on 10% maximum. We need to put a cap on 10% maximum. We need to put a cap on 10% maximum. So my DRTTV best. So keep in mind that as an individual, if an individual, let's say citizen X, me, you, or somebody else, if, let's say, individual citizen X paid $156 in interest in 2020, 2021, and that interest payments last year and 3 years later would have went from $156 to $333. If it goes more than double, just the interest, from 156 to 333, so from 156 to 333, if it goes more than double, that means that has to cut the budget. Because of course, unless the salary also more than doubles, unless the income also more than doubles, being the salary. But how many salaries have doubled in the past 5 years? In the past 5 years, the average salary increase has been 4.4. So some has been 2%, 1.5%, 2.5%, 3%, 4, 5, some 6, 7, to give an average of 4.4. That's very low. Some have increased by 15, 10, 15%, but the average is 4.4% only. So you tell me if you know some salaries that doubled. I don't know many. I don't know any. There's not many, there's not any. There's not many, there's not any. There's not many, there's not any. And it's not a laughing matter. This subject is serious, but myself being financially stressed and grateful, thankful my rent's paid, electricity bill is paid, and by DRTTV, paradoxically, or something similar, is the only solution. Or the solution which is something similar to it. Something similar to it. Something similar to it. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, which integrates in it monetary integration theory. So I'm going to explain it now. Again, do the math. Mathematical principia. The principle of mathematics is just like with a private citizen, if the debt servicing the interest he, she, they pay, then automatically is the same with the public, because the GDP, gross domestic product, the economy of Canada has not doubled. It's very, very rarely that a GDP and economy takes decades and generations for a GDP to double, with some special small cases, such as when small population countries such as Dubai, let's say, or United Arab Emirates or Singapore or other countries, maybe Ireland or something, that due to FDI, which stands for foreign direct investment, or the discovery of a on-demand natural resource such as oil, uranium, gold, copper, or diamonds, or other such things, commodities, then maybe, but very rarely, and as an exception to the international economic rules, worldwide global financial rules, or the global, worldwide, international commercial rules of nations. So it takes decades to double usually. Even China, it took more than 44 years for the GDP to double. Even China took like more than 44 years for the GDP to double. It took more than like 44 years, right? So this is 1980s, early 1980, after the opening reform by deng jumping. Sorry for the mispronunciation. It's not out of volition or ill will. It's just gotta work on certain things. I'm sure some people pronouncing Adrian Hanna Dragon. Still officially to change my name, because gotta pay, and I'm always open for business. Kisses I got by the trillions, and by those kisses I'm laying the foundations. By those trillions of kisses created from the forgotten goddess, I'm laying the foundations for the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom here in North America, the new collective. And the DRT with it, debt refusion theory, So what are we gonna cut, my brothers and sisters, in the public services? Just like an individual has to reduce their spending, the budget, security forces, police, prisons, correctional facilities, public sanitation, garbage collection, recycling collection, compost collection. These have to be reduced, have to be cut, otherwise there's no other way out of this. Much also Canada, US, with my DRT theory. That's why I'm calling for the DRT theory, ASAP emergency, to be implemented ASAP. D, debt, R, refusion, T theory, the debt refusion theory, the debt refusion theory, the debt refusion theory, DRT, debt refusion theory. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, preferably the implementation of the DRT Canada first, but preferably implementing it just like the establishment of the NHL, which is now really national, it's binational, and the PVHL, Professional Women's Hockey League, of which Victoire, when I have money, is my next t-shirt spending, all the money. And of course, in the otherwise, which is another one, for it to be the Professional Women's Hockey League, and parallel to it is, of course, the PVHL, Professional Women's Hockey League, and the NBA. So implementing it simultaneously. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt. My $10,000 to the RBC also. 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 Real Bank of Canada. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. All that debt, the public and the private debt, is gonna be the initial money supply. The initial money supply. The initial money supply for a new central bank. But we're going to convert all the Canadian public-private debt to the US dollar, added the public-private debt of Canada and Canadians with the public-private debt of my brothers and sisters in the USA. That money, that's going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank, whatever we call it. So that's why you see in my DRT theory is integrated the monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory which the Europeans implemented, because the Germans, the Italians, the French, many countries in Europe, they destroyed their national central banks. They don't have central banks anymore. And of course, see, you can't go there. It's preferred not to go there. Usually you can go by that side, but now like that, it says stay on the main. Stay here. Don't go there because there's a risk. That's called a falaise here. We go during spring, summer for cleaning. I went a few times in the past, more than 7, 8, 9 years for the cleaning, but that's what it is for that. So that's what it is for that. So that's what it is, you know. So it's something which we gotta be interjecting for it. So it's something which I gotta be doing, you know, so something which I gotta be on the mind, you know, so something which we gotta be on the trajectory. So here we are, Mother Nature, you know, we gotta cooperate, eh? So my DRT theory includes monetary integration theory, which is what they did in the European Union, but we're gonna do it with the DRT. My theory, which integrates that theory. And the Europeans, the Germans, the Italians, French, and many countries, they destroyed their national central banks. They don't have central banks anymore. They have a multinational central bank. And this they did decades and decades ago, more than 25 years ago in the 90s. It really started slowly, but in the 50s. We're going to have to do it fast. Fast. We're going to have to do it fast. So we're going to take all the public-private debt, all the debt converted to US dollar. That money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. That money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. It's a long train here. Super long. For a new central bank. And we're going to put into circulation a new currency based on the value of the US dollar called the UE. U.universal, E.exchange, U.unit. U.universal, E.exchange, U.unit. U.universal, E.exchange, U.unit. the universal exchange, the UE, based on the value of the US dollar. That's going to be the universal exchange unit. And with that money, we're going to be rebuilding the infrastructure, the bridges, the highways of North America, mass finance citizens, fitness activity, mass finance citizens, fitness activity, mass finance citizens, fitness activity, building those 44 tunnels, construct and building 44 tunnels, construct and build 44 tunnels, 44. Number after 43 before 45 is 44 tunnels, based on one of my documents and initiatives called the North American Integrated Initiative for the building and constructing of 44 tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war, in case of a thermonuclear war. That's what we gotta be doing with that. That's what we gotta be doing with that. So we gotta be building that, you know, we gotta be building that. So 44 tunnels, cross Canada US joint, inspired by the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. The Cheyenne Mountain Complex, inspired by the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, and inspired by the Montreal Underground Village. So inspired by that, and for the survival and the continuity of the North American Collective of North America, based on one of my papers which I've written about 6 years ago, and I added to it and revised during COVID. I've written a document called a big academic title, more scholarly intellectual based the title, but something in the such the Citizen Integrated Public-Private Partnership Initiative for the construction and building of 44 tunnels across North America for the surviving and the continuity of the North American Collective. So we got to get that building, and by the DRT we will be able to mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. We'll be able to mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. We'll be able to mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. We'll be able to mass finance tourism, people to work out, people to train, and people to work out, people to train, people for tourism, and that's what it's got to be. So we got to implement that DRT, the digital fusion theory. That's what we got to be doing with that. That's what we got to be doing on that. So that's what we got to be doing on the XYZ. And those 44 tunnels got to be built ASAP, you know. So also, gonna get more defense coast to coast, implement Operation Northern Scorpio for citizen integration theory, the Dragon Army, for security service, defense and service. Security defense only, coast to coast, ocean to ocean only for defense, security service. So finance the Dragon Army, aka North American Integrated Security Service and Defense, based on my total mobile defense theory system, or TD or TM, total mobile defense theory system. The total mobile TM, total mobile defense system or theory system. Sometimes 4 acronyms, 5, depending on the range of because it's really one theory, but it has different layers to it. Sea, water, trains, bridges, railroads, highways, and pedestrians, and all circulatory, all transportation, public, private, across the North American Collective. I'm not going to go into details about that's a sensitive defense theory for defense. Canada Coast for the blah 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 blah. Nothing to do about it. General Cuckold, Rainbow Dragon. I'm not going to discuss my total mobile defense theory system with anybody specifically, and I'm certainly not going to divulge much of that online, because it's security wise is sensitive, as I did much of work with CSIS in the past, and of matters of terrorism and other national security matters, which I have proof of work, whatever, for that, but I'm not going to go into details on that matter because it's more sensitive. But as a geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist and philosopher who in high school had accreditation and a letter to go to Kingston military college, you know, and I did not graduated high school, but you know, I got loss of memory and like blackouts of memory, my youth, adolescence, and early adulthood. You know, just remember mostly the past years, like moving from a very moldy place, being depressed, suicidal, crossing Canada coast to coast 2017, and that event just changed my life, and did lots of work since then, theoretical analysis and fitness wise and artistic, philosophic, and financially struggling, but got those trillions of kisses, will to build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-US border, the forgotten goddess or the goddess temple, goddess of many names, unnamed goddess temple, forgotten goddess temple, all those titles for the temple of the goddess, dedicated, consecrated, 156 code for the 93 gang, pledge your allegiance to our family on the Canadian-US border, and the pyramid, scarlet, crimson, red, the house of the dragon, the house of the dragon, and the house of the dragon with it, and of course the house of the dragon, and the building of not only the Rainbow People's Palace for my fellow LGBTQ community, So that's what we gotta do, and here we are, Montreal, Hawk Island, DRT, debt refusion theory. My brothers and sisters, as much as you will to argue, there's where we are now, 2025, February 20th, the record credit card and record public and private debt, record levels both in the public and the private sphere. So we have reached in 2025 record debt both in the public, as a public sphere, and in the private. So the DRT theory, debt refusion theory, has to be implemented ASAP. We have to do it. There's no other way. You can argue, there's no other way but my DRT theory. And it takes a lots of work, public and private work, and public and private financial institutions. Please don't be so selfish, billionaires. I'm not totally selfless. I like bacon. I like cheese. I like wine once in a while. I love wafers. That's my sweet spot. I love good hamburger. Actually, I could eat hamburgers and cheeseburgers every day. And wafers every day. I wouldn't mind. We gotta get that fast food workers. How about some LOV? Send some LOVE, love, and some rock and roll for those flipping some burgers across the North America. Flipping some burgers, making some cheeseburgers, some lettuce, some of those salads, some triple stack cheeseburgers, double bun hamburgers, triple bun hamburgers, with some of that good beef or some good bacon in it, That's it, that's all. DRT, debt refusion theory. We gotta organize mass urban parties for the Sabbats of the Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, which commence Friday night, midnight, just Saturday 1 second past. Midnight is basically Saturday till Sunday sunset. So it's almost 45 hours, almost 45 hours, right? Sunset. Almost 44 hours and about 55 minutes official time of the Sabbath of the Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, and take turns, 1 Sabbath, 2 Sabbaths, or a full moon cycle for security workers, for the Dragon Army personnel, DGA Dancing Goddess Army personnel. Pledge your allegiance, friends with benefits only, otherwise I don't want none to hear about it. Already marched more than the generals of NATO during COVID now, and today already marched, put in more marching steps than maybe all the generals of NORAD, NATO, Canada, US, not combined, not gonna do that exaggeration. As Donald versus Trump, Dragon versus Trump, let's go, fight me and you, Canadian US border, public-private partnership, let's get it on the go, and public-private partnership, so I gotta get doing, and we gotta get doing on some LOVE, so it's also something which we gotta implement, something which we gotta beat there. DRT, and along the debt refusion theory, the CIT, citizen integration theory, and the democratic fusion theory, which is tied hand in hand when I say I'm a universal revolutionary centrist. My universal revolutionary centrism is tied, integrated with my trinity of theories, of which I just discussed, the DRT, debt refusion theory, and the CIT, citizen integration theory, which is part and part, hand in hand with the dragon army and the DGA, dancing goddess army, dancing for pleasure and purpose, for the environment and for pleasure, aka dancing goddess army, the North American integrated dancing. But we're north, true north, strong and free Canadians, but my brothers and sisters in the USA are south. But we cannot just be, I understand peace through strength, but I do not support just that, because it's not enough peace through strength. You gotta have peace through some LOVE, some love also, because just strength and security is not enough. Just like just private is not enough. It takes the public. It's not enough, just strength. You know, it's not enough. We gotta base authority and power on more than just strength and force, right? And coercion. Dragon versus Storm, baby. Since 2018, when I started advocating for the building construction of a joint Canada-US, Canada-US rink made of Canadian aluminum, joint Canada-US aluminum and steel. Canadian joint US aluminum and steel, when Donald Trump first imposed the 10% tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, and now the threat of 25% looming. That's a quarter, that's a lot. So we need to avoid it, we need to get to the table and find some solutions. I got a lot of things I put on the table. Trillions of kisses, most kisses ever, from the goddess, GODDSS credited. That's my will to build here in this North America, on the Canadian-USA border. We don't need the border. Longest border in the world, undefended, longest continuous border is focus coast to coast, ports and airports. Focus the security and the spending money for nonsense. We don't need the border. We need a common passport. We need to do a census, a great census, to see everybody who's been living here in North America in the past 7 years and who has come maybe in the past 5 years. They say during COVID, who's here since February 2020, when I survived COVID, and maybe since 2017 when I crossed Canada coast to coast. I've been living in the same place for more than 7 years for sure. I'm moving about 7, 8, 9 years ago, so I guess it's been some time, you know. I just remember mostly the past years, and you know, maybe the mold where I used to live in a very moldy place on the ground, but you know, I live with lots of scars on my body, lots of flashes of trauma, and being attacked by surprise where I fell, hit my head, and had a dislocated right arm. Then I went to the hospital, and that was the replace, and that's what it is for that, and that's all we gotta get doing on that. So that's all we gotta get on the do, you know. So it's something which we gotta be doing now, you know. So here we are in the snow, grateful, thankful, rent's paid, and electricity bills paid. Please invite us properly. 15% do support 51st state. 15% do support the 51st state. 15% supposedly. 15.6 last time I checked. Support the 51st state idea. I support my way of the fusion. Canada-US, because the king is absent. Oh, I'm still going to be Quebecer, Canadian, North American. I was born in the USA in past life. Just read that. George Patton, one of the great generals of the USA, who wrote Three Glass Darkly. One of my favorite poems, Three Glass Darkly, where he writes about his knowledge and belief in reincarnation, but he didn't mention that once he was born a woman, As I was sometimes born a woman, born a man in past life. Sometimes I was born a woman, a man, a priestess. Ancient Egypt. Danced with Moses' sister Miriam. Danced with Moses' sister Miriam. Danced. I'm referring to Exodus 18, where it says that Miriam, Moses' sister, started dancing. Miriam, Moses' sister, started dancing. Miriam, Moses' sister, started dancing. Started dancing. Miriam, Moses' sister, started dancing. Started dancing. And of course there were priestesses who joined, right? There were priestesses of the goddess, because it's basically the ancient Egyptian religion there. The ancient Egyptian religion. The ancient Egyptian religion. The ancient Egyptian religion. So that's what it is with that. So back to what I was saying, in terms of the correlation. Lost in translation, scribes, Crowley 93, blah blah. Plenty of stars in the sky now, and sending some LOV, encouraging all to work out, try and exercise. I'm not gonna deviate into a mystic reincarnation, but George Patton reincarnation discussion and topic for another day. Commission it, finance it, blah blah. So of course George Patton wrote Three Glass Darkly, where he states his belief in reincarnation, but he didn't mention that he was born a woman there, because once he was my wife, about more than 25,000 years, correction, more than 2,500 years ago. Me and George Patton were married, and I was kind of involved in some farming and some agriculture and building some structures, temples. I was kind of a farmer architect. He was my wife in ancient times, around after Sumer, Mesopotamia, came Babylon, right, and ancient Egypt and what have you. So today, 20th of February 2025, celebrating 5 years since I survived COVID, and I'm going deep in the snow. This was a hell of a workout. Woo, should try it and go all the way there, but it's a good one. Wow, I feel it on the legs, because I go sometimes up to the calves, up to the whole foot, not up to the knees, but it goes deep a few, I would say about between 7 and 11 inches. 7 and 11 inches, between 7 and 11 inches. Sometimes just an inch, 2, 3, but sometimes mostly goes a few inches deep. I don't know. Anyways, what I do know is my theory, DRT, my dream, the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, and I know there's somebody dancing, kissing, hugging. Send some love online. Let's get that dream. Pledge your allegiance, Dar family, for the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, for that DGA, the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, for the Rebirth Defense Security Service, for the lovers, the butchers, the bakers. Gotta include my brothers and sisters, black men, black women, the 13.3%, 13.4%, and including my neighbors who are black. It's Black History Month, so I gotta put on the table for them as well what I put for anybody else. Money I don't have at the moment, but I wouldn't withhold not giving to charity, being charitable, if I would have millions and billions for specific areas of charity, and put on the table kisses, hugs, and let's dance together. And we're brothers and sisters here, part of the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, the North American Union, the Democratic Republic, which includes my brothers and sisters who are black, 13.3, 13.4%, my neighbors included. We made it this far. We made the great linguistic compromise with the French language here, myself included, part of 9 million, almost 10 million Quebecers, part of the 9 million, 10 million Quebecers who are part of the collective, part of the North American Civilizational Collective. And once we made here the great linguistic compromise for the French language to have the peace, continuity of peace. It's a great compromise here, the North American Collective, right? What I call as a philosopher, the great linguistic compromise of the North American Collective for the North American Collective Civilizational Complex, for that DGA, and for XYZ. That's what we gotta be doing here, you know. So we continue this far, and we gotta keep on doing it. 20th of February, 2025. 20th of February, 2025. 20th of February, 2025, and that's how we kind of get doing with that, and so we kind of get doing with the XYZ, and gotta get on that love a bit, start shaking, get a little bit of that hydration if you're working out. Encourage all the workout and train and exercise, and I'm going deep now in the snow. That was deeper. That was deep, but I still gotta keep pushing because I'm almost there, and this has been an experience. I think in deep snow like this, it's been a few years, maybe 7, 6, you know, since I did a long march in deep snow like this. But anyways, if not, maybe this is a record for me in deep snow. Broke in the past years. Personal fitness records. Marched more than the generals of NATO today, that's for sure. Maybe combined during February already. During COVID for sure. Marched more steps than the generals of NATO combined, and here I am, you know. Marching dance art. Workout. A good workout, and thinking about those who were involved in the snow removal operations, the snow removal operations, those building, some construction workers on those cranes, hotel workers, receptionists, nurses, doctors, butchers, firefighters, train conductors, warehouse workers, dock workers. Let's get that North American Collective Workers' Party. Let's get that North American Collective Workers' Party. Let's get that North American Collective Workers' Party. You know, that's what we gotta get doing on that, and that's what we gotta keep on doing together, you know. So that's what we gotta get doing on that. So it's something which we gotta do, something which I encourage all. Because me, I lost between 80 and 93 pounds. Started my fitness journey when I crossed Canada coast to coast, 2017. That event really changed my whole life. Started working out, started fitness journey, and I always say my fitness journey begins, and every day my fitness journey begins every day, and that's what we gotta get doing, you know. So super important, and gratitude for mental health is, I think, another great component, you know, to get that gratitude, because civilization is a privilege, and that was my thesis back in 2023. My thesis was the privilege of civilization, or the privilege of civilization, and civilization is a privilege. The power lines, I'm going deep in the snow, deep in the snow. All the bridges, the highways, running water, potable water, drinkable water, electric wirings, electrification, the internet, big, massive food structures, and it's a privilege. The smartphones and TVs, and all we have is as a collective is a big civilizational privilege. So, you know, always gotta be mindful of that, and we need to get the harmony between nature and civilization, and that's what we need to do, you know. So it's something that we gotta be, at least myself as a philosopher, I'm always on these marches with meditating, but mostly for the North American Collective, because we constitute a collective, and now I'm deep in the snow, but I'm almost there. This has been a great workout for the body, Great workout for the body. Oh yeah, a great workout for the body, and quite an experience, I gotta say. I don't know how many kilometers, miles, but it's deep. It seems that somebody had laid the tracks before me, and of course it hasn't been plowed or the snow removal hasn't passed, but nonetheless, now I served wearing triple socks, auctioning the shoes, the socks, a million, gonna give half to my anonymous friend, who wasn't my friend because of the money, because I never had any. Rock and roll for the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, and the grocery store clerks, and all involved in the production and the distribution of food, and all those, who are across the collective, the North American Civilisation Collective, and all those now who do all about that LOV. That gives me hope, and I love to matchmake, so gives me hope when I see people holding hands, kissing and hugging, because otherwise what are we fighting for, to save civilization for, eh? Is somebody not making love tonight? Black, white, and rainbow. If somebody not making love tonight, black, white, and rainbow. Somebody not making love tonight. Black, white, and rainbow. Let the nuclear war. The heads rock and roll. No war. Aggression needs to be channeled. Aggression needs to be channeled, just like sexuality. It needs to be channeled and sublimated. Two key words in my philosophy: channeling and sublimating it. Channeling and sublimating it. So channeling and sublimation. Channel. It's not always easy. I've been depressed, been suicidal, but that probably mostly due to being, Asperger's, having HFA, being neurodivergent, and the sufferings and the strugglings thereof. And it's only about 44 months ago, because I've been diagnosed by several individuals in the past for more than 7 years. And I always said no, and it's a stigma kind of still. There's more understanding now, but there's still some stigma in relation to it, but there's less stigma now, so it's more understood. It's more understood nowadays than when it used to be, but nonetheless, it's something which I gotta go again here in the snowstorm, but somebody laid the tracks for me, so gotta give a thank you to whoever you are. And I got that backpack, so I'm gonna switch my gears a bit, and here I gotta go on somebody else's footsteps, as we are as a civilization. We always have the privileges from the workers of the past, eh? Imagine the workers who build the hydroelectric dams here to have that light, and all the electricity in my smartphone now to make this work, because this is my work as a YouTuber, philosopher, artist, athlete, independent geopolitical theoretical honest and theorist, and of course philosopher who is not perfect, far from it, and who of course has and lives with the neurodivergent mental psychic condition known as Asperger's. So that's something which I gotta do, so something which gotta meditate upon. See, you're not supposed to go there because this is the falaise, so we're gonna go by the side here and go on these steps here that somebody laid. So thank you. And like I meditate now, hold the privilege of civilization, construction workers from yesterday, today, for tomorrow, calling all to support building the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-US border, and the Forgotten Goddess Temple, and of course, the pyramid, scarlet, crimson or scarlet are shades of red, my favorite color. House of the dragon, pyramid. Austere, we're not into fancy big, but be able to have open house, open doors, Monday, Friday, or Sabbath also, with a dance hall, workout, gymnasium, and XYZ, a place for loving. And the fourth building, the Rainbow People's Palace. That's my dream that I will to build, and gotta credit something for the construction workers, because it's blah 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 blah, housing and butchers, bakers, and all the highways. Imagine highways now across North America, how much rebuilding we need to do. And by the DRT theory, the debt refusion theory, we're going to be able to do it. By implementing my DRT, debt refusion theory, we're going to be able to do a lot of work. And only meditating now, it's a very snowy edition. And we had records. We broke the record since 1941, but it was a double record. Just because it was a double storm. It was 3 days apart. It wasn't the same storm. It was 3 days apart, but it was kind of in the same week, right? Almost, because it laid over for Monday. But it was 3 days apart. 3 days apart. So most accumulated snow since 1941. We broke that record, which was set in 1941. So still supposedly it's going to go on until Monday. Today we're Thursday, February 20th, 2025. However, we calculate era since maybe 1904 March or whatever. Sure, Telemite, like this wannabe Telemite, so it's something which we gotta do, and something which I gotta be on the lay, on the do, on the love, on the you. So it's the day, carpe diem it every day since survived COVID, celebrating 5 years, celebrating surviving COVID today. To my black brothers and sisters, Black History Month. Also got to include in my march, my brothers and sisters who are blacks, 13.3, 13.4, with open arms, open arms. LOV. We have sometimes racism within us as individual discriminations and misunderstandings, but we made it so far. We're becoming like here in the collective, something new, freedom is new. Freedom is new, Freedom is a new thing, Under the sun, Mr. Solomon. Freedom is a new thing under the sun, Mr. Solomon. Freedom is a new thing under the sun, Mr. Solomon. Freedom is a new thing under the sun, Mr. Solomon. And that's all we gotta do. So it's here something which we gotta be mindful of, and we got so many things to see, to do. That's why I need to implement my DRT theory and invite us properly, Mr. Trump and fellow brothers and sisters in the USA, with some parades, with some of our marching bands, with some dance twerking, with some twerking, with some good singing, rock and roll, rap across the 50 states, some marching bands style marching bands with trumpets and singing. Invite us properly, with some partying, with some dancing, with some cheerleading, feet up, cheerleading style, NFL style cheerleading, football gridiron NFL style cheerleading. Come join us as the 51st state. We love you. Come join us in the union as the 51st state. Come join us and dance and some trumpets. Not with 25% tariffs, with threats and bullying. And don't do that. Don't do that. Invite us properly. Say, I'm sorry. Just apologize. I've apologized a lot in the past years, and if I hurt anybody in any way, and sometimes I can be offensive, not seemingly aspies. We tend sometimes in conversation to seem offensive, rude and abrasive, but it's not by intention. It's just that sometimes we are direct. It's certain things which we desire. Or to give you an example, is the neurodivergent. When somebody asks, how are you? And I realized that for many years I just said how I felt. I said, so, or financially stressed, or you know, but the expectation in society are to say I'm okay or this and that. And then after when I accepted Asperger's, I realized that that's because of Asperger's, you know. And somebody asked, how are you? I really said how I felt. Felt so, or financially stressed, or moody, or I could use a hug, and whatever the case was, or they kind of didn't know how to react because the social norms and social cues and they're more difficult for people with Asperger's or neurodivergent. So we're good in certain things. While myself, I am mediocre, average, and so-so. Being average, mediocre, so-so. Being so-so, average, and mediocre at some things. I am great, super, and excellent at some other things, especially geopolitics. Because I predicted what's happening now based on the deep level of analysis of geopolitical world events and world, global, international geopolitics. But mainly foremost, I concluded that many nation states have, of course, not been able to resolve their conflicts from the 20th century. They're going to re-begin in the 21st century. And that's what's happened. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, Israel, the Middle East, potentially, China, Taiwan. Maybe there's an invasion of the Republic of China, which is known as Taiwan. People's Republic of China is mainland China. Republic of China, both have China as the official name. But one island is known as the Taiwan, the island. But it's officially named Republic of China. While mainland China, the 1.4 billion populated political entity, civilization even, is known as the People's Republic of China. And their conflict dates from the 20th century. And it's still not resolved. Here we're a new civilizational complex. Quebec, we made here the great linguistic compromise of the French language, and we continue to do so, and I'm going to start doing that right now. Et voilà, on est rendu dans une marche. Je viens de traverser comme un gros espace de neige, puis j'étais profondément dans la neige avec la jambe, fait que là, ça fait du bien, je dois me tourner un peu parce que c'était quand même un entraînement physique. Québécois et Québécoises, votre dragon arc-en-ciel vous invite à l'entraînement physique puis à la gratitude, même si je vis un stress financier en ce moment. Je suis 10 000 $ de dette, mais je suis quand même joyeux, je suis content, je suis de bonne humeur. C'est juste que je vis un stress financier, mais quand je fais les marches, entraînement physique, méditation, je médite toujours qu'est-ce qui se passe à travers le Québec, à travers le Canada, puis à travers le collectif de l'Amérique du Nord, parce qu'on constitue un collectif. Puis bien sûr, en tant qu'analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, indépendant, parce que c'est mon intérêt spécial, ou dans qu'est-ce qu'on appelle pour nous qui faisons partie de la communauté de neurodivergents qu'on vit avec l'Asperger's, qui sont l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, mais moi-même, en vivant avec cette condition de neurodivergence, je sais ces intérêts, puis ces intérêts ils font toujours partie de mon quotidien, puis c'est ma trinité d'intérêts spéciaux, aussi connu comme obsessif, mais j'utilise pas le mot obsessif parce que utiliser le mot obsessif, c'est plutôt comme un négatif. Puis en étant dans le négatif, bien sûr, c'est plutôt dans le positif que je dois retourner, bien sûr, pour le faire, puis le dire, bien sûr, que dans le positif, que ça a quand même des forces, même si dans certaines choses, je suis médiocre, comme ça, mais je suis bon en géopolitique, du point que j'ai prévu la situation qui se déroule en ce moment. Je vais juste faire une méditation pour les travailleurs publics. Comment ils ont construit ce pont ici, puis toutes les autoroutes, là, c'est quand même un travail que... C'est quand même un privilège, la civilisation, c'est un privilège. En tout cas, fait que de retour à mon analyse en géopolitique, je répète toujours, car c'est important, parce que c'est ça que je fais comme travail quotidiennement, tous les jours. Des fois, je passe des heures, avec intensité super dedans, à me concentrer, faire les analyses de la géopolitique. Puis maintenant, ce qui nous concerne le plus, c'est sur l'horizon, c'est les 25% de tarifs qui s'en viennent de Donald Trump. C'est les 25% de tarifs de Donald Trump qui sont sur l'horizon pour mars, parce qu'il y a eu un délai d'1 mois. Fait qu'il y a un délai d'1 mois, il y a un délai d'1 mois. Fait que dans ce délai d'1 mois, mais il faut qu'on s'arrange à quelque chose. Moi, vous savez, je ne soutiens pas Trump, pas du tout. Depuis 2018, je fais appel à Trump qui me combat dans un combat de boxe sur la frontière du Canada puis des États-Unis parce que depuis 2018, la première fois qu'il a imposé des tarifs sur l'aluminium puis l'acier du Canada, Québec, l'aluminium puis l'acier québécois, canadien, québécois, c'était 10%, mais là, 25% de tarifs sur tous les biens, c'est possible que ça soit une catastrophe parce que du point de vue réel, financier, économique, le mathématique, on exporte, là, le marché américain, mais c'est nos exportations, c'est 8 $ sur 10, c'est plus que 80%. Fait que c'est 8 $ sur 10. Fait que soyons quand même réalistes, c'est quelque chose qu'il faut éviter de toute puissance. Puis c'est sûr, moi, mon rêve, c'est fondamentalement une union de l'Amérique du Nord. Je resterai quand même Québécois-Canadien, Canadien-Québécois, Nord-Américain, mais on est un collectif nord-américain, on est une civilisation qui est émergente. Le Québec, le Canada, ensemble avec les États-Unis, on a des distinctions avec l'Occident. On n'est pas tout à fait divorcé de l'Occident, mais on a quand même des distinctions. On a quand même on a des distinctions. C'est un collectif nord-américain émergent. Mais nous, dans le fond, on est dans le nord des États-Unis, puis eux autres sont comme dans le sud. Fait que dans le fond, c'est comme une union du nord puis du sud. C'est comme une unification du nord puis du sud, une fusion du nord puis du sud. Puis bien sûr, en étant centriste moi-même, je tiens à cœur, tu sais, le public aussi. Tu sais, le public aussi, c'est important. Le privé, le public, ça doit être en balance. Je suis pour la santé publique, pour le bien-être aussi, tu sais, pour avoir dans la société, tu sais, ceux qui sont dans des choses plus difficiles, qui vivent, tu sais, pour avoir, pas nécessairement de la charité, mais un esprit de corps aussi, tu sais, pour le soutien social, tu sais, pour le bien-être social, tu sais, l'aide sociale, là, dans le fond, oui. Tout ça, comme moi-même, tu sais, j'ai eu beaucoup d'emplois juste durant la COVID, j'en ai comme plusieurs, puis avant, mais ça a été difficile parce qu'à cause de l'Asperger's, qui n'est pas une condition de maladie mentale, c'est une condition de neurodivergence, les gens ne comprennent pas si bien. Fait que les Asperger's, on est une minorité de moins d'1%, même moins de la moitié d'un pourcentage. C'est 0,44%. Fait que c'est très, je fais partie d'une minorité, là, vraiment minorité, là. C'est quelque chose que c'est difficile à vivre avec, puis je dois toujours bâtir des ponts avec les neurotypiques, parce que nous, notre cerveau est différent. Fait que les choses sociales, les communications de la société, les interactions sociales, les normes de la société c'est difficile pour nous. Ça prend un effort énorme. Ça prend un effort énorme un effort énorme. C'est un effort constamment de bâtir des ponts avec les neurotypiques. Parce que cette condition de neurodivergence, ça fait je peux être moi-même, puis bien des aspects très intenses, super dedans, super concentrés. Quand on travaille, on étudie, on travaille dans le domaine ou dans nos intérêts spéciaux, aussi connus comme les intérêts obsessifs. Mais je n'utilise pas obsessif parce que obsessif, c'est plutôt négatif. Mais c'est quand même, ça peut être une très bonne chose. Puis il faut soutenir. Puis il faut avoir le soutien dans ces choses-là, les Asperger's, les Aspi, les autistes hautement fonctionnels. Parce que, vous voyez, moi, c'est la géopolitique. Parallèlement avec l'entraînement physique, le sport que je préfère, c'est la danse. L'entraînement physique que je préfère, c'est aussi la danse. Fait que c'est la même chose, l'entraînement physique, le sport, la danse, ben c'est quand même l'activité physique, là. Fait que c'est une chose, dans le fond, là. Fait que aussi le rock'n'roll, fait que ça, c'est ma trinité. Des fois, je rentre dans des transes de rock'n'roll, même quand je rencontre du monde, je leur demande « Voulez-vous que je vous tue? Voulez-vous que je vous chante une chanson rock'n'roll? » Puis j'en compose, hein, au quotidien, en français et en anglais, là. J'en ai des centaines de chansons, je pense, d'écrites, de composer, de rentrer dans la transe, là. C'est vraiment quelque chose que... c'est du rock'n'roll, là, oubliez ça. Fait que, mais dans d'autres choses, je suis moins capable. Il faut me le dire. Les aspects, il faut nous le dire directement parce qu'on comprend pas tu sais, comme des normes non écrites, puis on s'approche trop proche des gens quand on leur parle dans la conversation. Fait que ça peut paraître bizarre. C'est bizarre mais c'est pas parce qu'on est méchant ou violent ou des choses comme ça. C'est juste on peut avoir l'hypervigilance. Par exemple, moi-même, je suis hypervigilant parce que j'ai vécu de la violence, beaucoup de violence de trompe, et j'ai été attaqué par surprise, puis bien des choses, là, mais bon, c'est des choses qu'il faut que je face à moi-même. Fait que c'est toujours cette condition de neurodivergence que j'ai moi-même. Fait que c'est toujours pour faire une appellation dans ce domaine-là qu'on aille bien sûr de la convergence. Puis il faut toujours que je bâtis, construis des ponts. Des ponts. Des ponts. C'est juste ça. Mais, je veux dire, dans la géopolitique, j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant. Puis aujourd'hui, je célébration 5 ans depuis que j'ai survécu la COVID. En 2020, entre 7 février 2020 et le 24 mars 2020, fait que 5 ans, ça fait déjà 5 ans. Wow. J'ai eu la COVID. Je pensais que j'allais mourir. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence de la maladie. Quand je dis ça, ça fait penser à une chanson de thrash metal, là, du metal hardcore rock'n'roll, là. Tu sais, la mort, la pestilence puis la maladie. 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 C'est comme ça que je me suis ressenti. Ça pourrait se faire une chanson rock'n'roll, mais c'est plus négatif. Moi, je chante plus pour les, pour les travailleurs de l'Hydro-Québec, pour les infirmières, pour les agriculteurs, les producteurs alimentaires, les travailleurs en construction, puis ça bouge des fesses, dans la neige, québécoise, à la danse. Plutôt comme ça, mais je peux chanter aussi quand sombre, les ténèbres un peu, là, mais je pensais que j'allais mourir. Je pensais vraiment, là, entre 7 février 2020 puis 24 mars 2025, je pensais vraiment que j'allais être mort. Puis j'allais être mort, puis j'allais être mort, puis j'allais être mort, bien sûr. Puis j'allais être mort. Je pensais vraiment que j'allais être mort. Ben, puis je suis mort, je dis souvent je suis mort, même que je t'avais de changer mon nom, Dragon. J'ai changé mon nom officiellement, mais il faut que je paye. En vivant une crise financière, j'ai besoin de soutien dans ce chose-là, puis je peux travailler, je peux bien faire du travail. Là. J'aime ça le travail, j'aime ça l'activité physique, la danse, la géopolitique, puis je suis capable, mais c'est juste que j'explique aux gens parce que moi-même, je me suis fait dire par des gens diagnostiqués par plusieurs personnes avant, puis ça fait comme 7, 8, 9 ans, là, puis on me l'avait dit, des différentes personnes, que j'ai l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, que je suis aspi, que j'ai l'Asperger's, mais je voulais pas l'accepter parce que c'était quand même un stigme. C'est juste ces dernières années là, que ça a été plus démystifié, puis plus compris que notre cerveau est différent, puis on a ces différences neurologiques. C'est pas une maladie mentale, c'est juste qu'on voit le monde d'une manière différente, tu sais, on voit les choses différemment, puis on est neurodivergent, c'est le cerveau qui est fait différemment des d'autres personnes, d'autres gens là, qui sont neurotypiques. Puis je fais partie de cette minorité qui vivent avec ça. Je vis avec comme je vis avec la perte de mémoire. Là, je m'en souviens avoir déménagé d'une place où il y avait beaucoup de moisissures. Puis je dis souvent j'aurais resté là-bas, j'aurais été peut-être mort ou dans la rue, ou en prison, mort en prison dans la rue, mort en prison dans la rue quelque part. Mais là j'ai survécu. Puis en 2019, en octobre et en novembre, j'ai prévu qu'il y aura une action internationale. J'ai prévu qu'il y aura une conflagration internationale. J'ai prévu la situation qui se déroule en ce moment d'une manière générale. En 2019, en octobre, j'ai la preuve, j'ai la vidéo en ligne, puis j'ai même créé un système d'entraînement physique pour y aller parallèlement avec qui ne requiert aucun équipement, je dois le dire, puis qui est quand même simple à faire, là, mais il y a quand même une complexité dedans, puis ça augmente le conditionnement physique. C'est un travail intégré que j'appelle. Dragon, en anglais, c'est un titre long, là, puis pour le traduire, c'est l'entraînement citoyen intégré pour un mode de guerre ou en situation de guerre intégré. L'entraînement physique citoyen intégré en situation de guerre. L'entraînement physique du dragon intégré dans une situation de guerre. En anglais, c'est General War Integrated Total Body Training System. Ça, c'est le titre officiel en anglais, là, mais pour le traduire un peu quand même, c'est pas tout à fait mot à mot, là, parce que ça se traduit pas vraiment mot à mot, mais c'est quand même quelque chose de ce point de vue-là. Avec, je l'écris parallèlement avec mon analyse, puis ma conclusion d'octobre-novembre 2019, avant que j'aille la COVID, que le monde se dirige vers une troisième guerre mondiale. J'avais prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant, mais encore pour faire un résumé, c'est à cause que j'ai prévu qu'il y a bien des nations, des pays, des États, des régions, des civilisations qui n'ont pas été capables de régler et de résoudre leurs problèmes qui datent du 20e siècle. Comme ici, en Amérique du Nord, je dis souvent, on a fait le grand compromis linguistique du français. On est 9 millions de Québécois, 10 millions de Québécois quand même. Moi-même, tu sais, c'est chez nous, Québec, le Canada, vous êtes ma famille, puis les Québécois et les Canadiens, puis l'Amérique du Nord, mais puis l'Amérique du Nord, puis je me considère pas personnellement un membre d'une diaspora, mais je fais partie de cette minorité comme d'autres Québécois et Québécoises qui vivent avec l'Asperger's, puis des Canadiens et des Nord-Américains. Fait que je fais partie de cette minorité, comme je fais partie de la minorité sexuelle, si vous voulez, en étant androgyne, monsieur, madame, pansexuel. Bien ça, c'est un côté que faut vous oublier quand je vous parle de la géopolitique, parce qu'il faut séparer mon travail en géopolitique, mon intérêt spécial, aussi connu comme obsessif en tant qu'étant Asperger's, qui est la géopolitique, que j'ai prévu la situation actuelle, puis qu'est-ce que je propose comme solution pour les finances publiques, puis pour la défense, la sécurité et le service, soit la théorie de défense mobile totale, la théorie de défense mobile totale, pour le collectif nord-américain, la théorie de défense mobile totale, que je ne dois pas discuter trop en détail car c'est sensible à la sécurité nationale. Donc, en étant sensible à la sécurité nationale, je ne peux pas trop donner de divulguer en ligne parce que c'est public en ligne, fait que c'est des choses qu'en étant un théoricien, un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, je dois toujours faire cette convergence dans cette situation. Puis maintenant, tu sais, en étant dans la métropole de Montréal, en saluant les 17 régions jusqu'aux îles de la Madeleine, les camionneurs, les infirmières, les pompiers, amour aux pompiers, aux boulangers, les boulangers, dans les boulangeries, tout ce qu'il faut, la production alimentaire, voyez, c'est le centre-ville, c'est le centre-ville, c'est le centre-ville, le centre-ville, pour en faire. C'est l'Hydro-Québec qui a fait bien le centre-ville pour avoir ses lumières. C'est l'Hydro-Québec pour en faire le centre-ville, pour en bâtir d'autres centrales. Puis je veux construire le temple de la déesse oubliée parce que je crédite avoir survécu à la déesse. Puis je fais bien sûr pour avoir survécu, c'est la déesse, le temple de la déesse oubliée. Je veux construire avec votre aide, les travailleurs de construction. Puis sur la frontière canadienne-états-unienne, du Canada et des États-Unis, pour la fusion du collectif nord-américain, qu'on construit le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial, le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial, le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial, et puis bien sûr, avec le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial, qu'on bâtit, construit la pyramide écarlate. Écarlate, c'est rouge comme ma couleur préférée, puis la pyramide, la maison du dragon. La maison du dragon. Un petit peu de rock'n'roll pour ceux qui font le déneigement. Vous avez beaucoup de travail. C'est un record. Ben de neige dans les provinces au Québec, à Montréal, on peut faire de l'exportation. On a tellement de neige. On exporte en Floride. Ah ouais. On amène ça, puis Donald Trump qui nous fout la paix avec le 25%. Il faut trouver des solutions quand même. Je ne soutiens pas Trump, pas du tout. Mais je suis pour l'intégration de l'Amérique du Nord parallèlement à l'Union européenne. Et je vais devoir avoir un peu de patience ici, je vais m'étirer un peu, parce que là, on doit traverser en sécurité, donc juste marcher un peu, puis retourner, parce que ça va prendre plus que 44 secondes, plus que 44 secondes, parallèlement à ma proposition, puis pour faire l'implémentation de ma théorie de la refusion de la dette, pour bien sûr bâtir les 44 tunnels. Construire les 44 tunnels basés sur la montagne Cheyenne, puis basés sur, bien sûr, le village souterrain de Montréal pour la continuité du collectif de l'Amérique du Nord, pour que l'Amérique du Nord survive dans le cas d'une guerre thermonucléaire. Puis vous voyez ici, sur l'île de Montréal, on est 2,5 millions. On a fait le grand compromis linguistique avec nos frères et sœurs, les Anglais, puis les États-Unis, l'autre bord. On fait voir qu'on s'unisse, puis on n'a pas besoin de la frontière. La frontière, je pense que c'est des dépenses inutiles. C'est la frontière qui est la plus longue et la plus défendue au monde. On a besoin de se diriger nos forces de sécurité de côte à côte. Les ports, puis les aéroports. Les ports, puis les aéroports. Les ports, puis les aéroports. Puis je pense que l'initiative de l'Armée du Dragon et la théorie d'intégration citoyenne, c'est quelque chose qui parallèlement peut être mis sur la table en tant que philosophe, artiste, athlète et analyste théoricien géopolitique, encore une fois, qui a prévu la situation qui se déroule en ce moment. Ayant prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe en ce moment, j'ai quand même des solutions en tant que philosophe. Et je vis avec mes propres cicatrices, mais je célèbre aujourd'hui ayant survécu la COVID. Regardez cette belle montagne de neige. 5 ans déjà, je me suis fait vacciner 3 fois. 3 vaccins, puis je vous encourage quand même de retenir les protocoles de sanitation publique. Retenir les protocoles de sanitation publique pour les germes, les bactéries puis les microbes. Je vous dis quand même de retenir puis continuer l'application de désinfecter les mains, puis c'est les produits si vous pouvez quand même. Fait que c'est des choses bien sûr que faut qu'on continue parce qu'il y a quand même des germes puis des microbes puis des bactéries. Fait que là, avec la nouvelle annonce de la service de sécurité, la CIA des États-Unis, d'espionnage puis de services de sécurité interne et externe, qui ont fait une révision puis ont dit que c'est possible, c'est plus la possibilité plus que la COVID a été créée dans un laboratoire. Que la COVID a été créée dans un laboratoire, que la COVID... Moi, écoutez, j'ai ma trinité de théorie sur la COVID, je l'ai eu moi-même, c'était vraiment sévère, là. Je dis souvent, je suis mort en 2020 entre le 7 février puis le 24 mars. Entre le 7 février puis le 24 mars. Oh, j'adore, vous savez, j'ai un petit fétiche, j'ai de quoi pour les grues. Les grues, là, de même, ceux qui travaillent aussi, je vous aime, je vous admets, mais ça a permis de construire, de bâtir les gratte-ciels. Moi, j'ai un petit quelque chose pour les grues, là. Je me demande toujours c'est quoi leur capacité, où qui ont été construites, combien qu'ils peuvent, combien ça pèse, combien qu'ils lèvent, jusqu'à quelle grandeur, jusqu'à quand ils vont... Les choses techniques, je fais référence aux choses techniques sur les grues, là. Combien de kilogrammes, peut-être des tonnes même, peut-être une tonne. Même une tonne, c'est 1000 kilogrammes, une tonne, c'est 1000 kilogrammes, une tonne, c'est 1000 kilogrammes, là. Fait que je me demande toujours, mais... Les grues, ben... S'ils sont faits au Canada, au Québec, aux États-Unis, ceux-là, je me demande... En tout cas, j'ai un petit quelque chose pour les grues quand même. Un petit fétiche. Bon, je vais discuter la théorie de la refusion de la dette. C'est pas important que je la discute, la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette maintenant. Bon, la théorie de la refusion de la dette, comme je l'ai discuté en anglais, c'était théorie à refusion de la dette, puis je me prononce, puis je dis que c'est la seule et unique théorie qui peut nous sauver, bien sûr, de qu'on est rendu avec les finances publiques, puis de grosses parties, à majorité partie avec les finances publiques, ainsi que privées, puis de parties privées, puis le public, moi-même, en ayant une dette de 10 000 j'ai une dette de 10 000 à la Banque Royale, donc, en faisant le calcul que vous pouvez vous-même constater puis faire ces vérifications après la Banque du Canada, qu'on est rendu l'année passée à payer 46,5 milliards d'intérêts. 46,5 milliards vis-à-vis qu'en 2020-2021, on a payé 20,3 milliards. Fait que si vous faites le calcul, 20,3 fois 2, c'est 40,6. Fait que c'est rendu qu'on paye plus que double. Plus que le double. Sur la dette publique canadienne. 1 milliard, c'est en 9,0, fait que c'est 46 000 millions qu'on a payé l'année passée vis-à-vis en 2020-2021. C'est sûr que ça a augmenté tellement à cause de la COVID. À cause de la COVID, tu sais. À cause de la COVID, ça a augmenté. C'est sûr que ça a augmenté à cause de la COVID. Il y a eu des programmes qui ont dû être implémentés puis pour soutenir la population dans cette situation de crise. Puis avec les lockdowns, le lockdown qu'il y a eu, tu sais, de rester à la maison, des ordres de rester chez vous, de rester à la maison, tu sais, on savait pas qu'est-ce qui se passait, puis c'était quoi, puis moi-même, quand je l'ai eu tout début, il n'y avait pas de mot COVID. C'est juste après, quand je commençais à me sentir mieux, que ils ont déclaré la pandémie. Mais moi, quand j'ai commencé à la voir après le 7 février à peu près, puis en fin de février, le 20 février, je pense que 2020 exactement, j'étais vraiment malade. C'est là que je pensais que j'allais mourir. Entre le 17 février, je pense, puis le 7 mars, j'étais vraiment... Voilà. Fait que j'ai survécu. Fait que les analyses, le travail que j'ai fait dans le géopolitique, c'est aussi vis-à-vis des finances publiques, parce que quand on étudie, puis la géopolitique, on doit savoir un peu des finances publiques, et bien sûr, c'est quelque chose qu'il faut qu'on fasse ensemble, bien sûr, puis qu'il faut qu'on regarde pour en faire des choses comme ça, pour en faire la situation actuelle, puis qu'on se déroule ensemble dans le fait de savoir, et dans le voir dire, pour faire l'implémentation de la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, théorie de la refusion de la dette, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Fait que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est la seule et unique solution ou quelque chose de très semblable à ma théorie de la refusion de la dette sur la TRD. Et dans ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est intégré la théorie d'intégration monétaire. La théorie d'intégration monétaire, c'est exactement la théorie que les Européens ont fait de l'implémentation. Les Européens ont fait de l'implémentation de cette théorie dans les années 90. Les Allemands, ils ont détruit leur banque centrale, les Italiens aussi, ils ont détruit leur banque centrale, les Français aussi. En ayant détruit leur banque centrale, ils ont fait la création d'une banque commune. La banque centrale commune, la banque centrale commune, la banque centrale commune, la banque centrale commune. Fait qu'en construisant une nouvelle banque, ils ont détruit leur ancienne banque. Hein. Ils ont plus de banque centrale. Une banque multinationale centrale, là, la banque centrale de l'Europe, qui ont mis en circulation l'euro. Ils n'ont plus de monnaie. Là, les Deutschmark, les Lira, tout ça, c'est parti des années 90. Fait que ma TRD, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. Fait que je vous l'explique maintenant. Puis encore une fois, hey, Crowley. Comme mon père, 93, là, telem, prêtez allégeance, les gens, vous êtes famille. Des amis avec bénéfice seulement, prêtez allégeance, les gens, vous êtes famille. Des amis avec bénéfice seulement. Prêtez allégeance, les gens, vous êtes famille. Des amis avec bénéfice seulement, merci pour votre compréhension. Mais vous allez me faire l'amour, noir, blanc, homme, femme, je vous carte. Hein. Comme à rentrer du club, il faut bien mieux que vous soyez 18 ans et plus. Vous allez me faire l'amour, il faut que vous ayez 18 ans et plus. Là. 18 ans et plus, hein, je vous cale comme à la SAQ, comme à la SDQC, j'étais de cannabis, là. SQDC, Société québécoise de distribution du cannabis, SQDC. Ça ne revenait pas sur la langue, ça faisait comme une chanson de rock'n'roll, mais bon, pour en dire, là, dans cette situation, qu'on est ensemble ici, puis que c'est un paradoxe quand même, parce que toute la souffrance, tout en perdant de l'emploi, en perdant l'opportunité de l'emploi, ces choses-là que j'ai vécues, puis en vivant une crise financière maintenant, que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, que je mets sa table avec les milliards de bisous, puis des cannabis à chanter, puis ben du rock'n'roll, que c'est un paradoxe, que c'est la seule et unique solution en ce moment, bien sûr. C'est quelque chose qui ressemble à ma TRD, parce que quelque chose qui ressemble à ma TRD, c'est la solution. Vous pouvez vous ostiner tant que vous voudrez, mais c'est ça la solution, quelque chose de très, très semblable à cette théorie que je vous l'explique maintenant. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Fait que bien sûr, c'est des choses qu'il faut qu'on fasse. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. C'est la théorie qu'il faut faire l'implémentation. C'est la théorie qu'il faut faire l'implémentation pour en faire ici. Pour la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Je vous l'explique, je l'explique. Après que je sois parti là, du côté, là. Et la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. Fait comme je vous l'explique, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, mon 10 000, ton 10 000, moi j'ai 10 000 $ de dette. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, mon 10 000, ton 10 000, de côte à côte, mon 10 000. On va prendre tout ça, toute la dette publique privée, on va mettre tout ça ensemble, toute la dette publique privée, mon 10 000, ton 10 000, ton 10 000, et bien sûr, on va faire pour de côte à côte. Puis encore une fois, c'est pas juste la dette publique, là, parce que vous voyez, faites le calcul, le fait que juste l'intérêt qu'on paye, ça a plus que doublé en 3 ans. Si on fait un calcul financier public, en tant que citoyen, si ça arrive, puis le salaire ne double pas, puis si l'intérêt double en 3 ans, il faut que vous coupez dans le budget. Si vous avez des cartes de crédit, pour votre intérêt double là, que vous payez, il faut réduire dans le budget. Fait que c'est le même principe financier de mathématiques avec la dette publique, avec l'intérêt public. Fait que c'est sûr qu'il va falloir bien sûr couper à quelque part. Qu'est-ce qu'on va couper? Le service de sécurité, la police, le service d'incarcération, les prisons, la sanitation publique. Qu'est-ce qu'on va couper? La sanitation publique. On va couper la sanitation publique? C'est ça. Il faut couper dans le budget. Fait que c'est le même principe avec les finances publiques. Je vais jeter quelque chose dans la poubelle. Bon, fait que, par principe, bien sûr, c'est ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse. Par principe, il va falloir couper à quelque part dans le budget. C'est ça qui est arrivé. Dans les finances publiques aussi, qu'est-ce que vous allez couper? Qu'est-ce qu'on va couper? On va couper les services de police, les services de prison, les services, bien sûr, de la sanitation publique, le ramassage des poubelles. Ça ramasse des poubelles, le compostage, tout ça, là. C'est des services publics. C'est ça qu'il faut faire, c'est ça qu'il faut comprendre. De la même manière, bien sûr, qu'il faut qu'on fasse de la même manière, dans la convergence, de le faire, bien sûr, du point de vue qu'on doit payer, bien sûr, sur les finances publiques. C'est le même point de vue, c'est la même situation. Dans les finances, situation financière, dans la situation financière, c'est la même chose. C'est ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse. Il va falloir faire ces choses-là. Et bien sûr, il va falloir qu'on fasse la TRD. Il n'y a pas d'autre solution, en d'autres mots. Il n'y a pas d'autre solution. C'est des choses qu'il faut qu'on fasse, tu sais. C'est des choses, c'est la TRD ou quelque chose de très similaire. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, puis encore tenez compte que la TRD, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. On va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, mon 10 000, ton 10 000, Canada premièrement, mais de préférence qu'on fasse l'implémentation de ma théorie de la refusion de la dette, Canada et États-Unis ensemble. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, parce que dans le privé aussi, dans le public puis dans le privé, on est rendu, Canada et États-Unis, en pays des records d'intérêt. On a des records cette année de dette publique ainsi que privée, dans le privé et dans le public. C'est un record. Fait que ça peut pas c'est possible, c'est commence un effondrement demain, lundi, c'est possible. C'est jamais été demain, c'est possible qu'il y ait un gros problème, juste l'intérêt qu'on paye. Là. Fait que c'est pour ça qu'il y a un gros problème aujourd'hui. On a la TRD de la refusion de la dette. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, tout ça on va convertir dans la devise des États-Unis. On va la convertir dans la devise des États-Unis. Tout ça on va ramasser ensemble, on va mettre tout cet argent-là ensemble, puis on va mettre ensemble pour la création d'une nouvelle banque centrale, comme qu'on fait en Europe, la Banque centrale d'Amérique du Nord, puis on va mettre en circulation une nouvelle monnaie qui va avoir l'argent en circulation initiale, ça va être toute la dette publique-privée qui existe. Puis on va faire la création de cette nouvelle monnaie basée sur la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. U point unité, un point échange, U point universel. U point unité, un point échange universel. L'unité d'échange universelle. L'unité d'échange universelle. Basée sur la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. Fait que le UI, l'unité d'échange universelle, ça va être basé sur la valeur des États-Unis, du dollar des États-Unis, sur la valeur des États-Unis. L'unité d'échange universelle, U point unité, un point échange, U point universel, le UI, unité d'échange universel, le UI, l'unité d'échange universel, l'unité d'échange universel, le UI. Quand on va mettre un taux d'intérêt de 10%, ça peut être moins, pas plus que 10%. Avec cet argent-là, on va rebâtir plus de centrales d'Hydro-Québec, rebâtir l'infrastructure, rebâtir plus de centrales d'Hydro-Québec, bâtir les 44 tunnels, construire les 44 tunnels dans le cadre d'une guerre thermonucléaire, financer les gens à faire l'entraînement physique, financer les gens au tourisme, implémenter ma théorie d'intégration citoyenne, implémenter la théorie du scorpion, de défense scorpion, l'opération scorpion qui intègre dans cette opération scorpion pour la sécurité, pour la défense, pour le service, la théorie de défense mobile totale. Des théories, des défenses, M mobile total ou total intégré. Ça dépend des acronymes, ça peut être plusieurs acronymes bien sûr, ça peut être bien sûr dans des acronymes que ça soit de divergence, puis bien sûr ça peut être certains acronymes que ça peut être dans le changement, mais la théorie d'intégration, puis la théorie bien sûr qu'on va faire l'implémentation, ça va faire ensemble pour les enjeux, go. On va voir s'il y a bien sûr du café, non. Pas aujourd'hui. C'est encore $1, mais ça me tente pas aujourd'hui. J'allais voir pour un... Non, mais en tout cas, là, c'est $1, je pense, en spécial. Mais avec les taxes, là, c'est un budget, mais peut-être demain, vendredi. Je vais attendre à demain. Parce que j'ai bu du café, j'ai du café chez nous, mais c'est quelque chose, bien sûr, que j'apprécie quand c'est $1 parce que je vis un stress financier, donc c'est toujours quelque chose de bon pour moi-même, pour sauver de l'argent, là, que ce soit $1 quand même. Plus les taxes, là, par exemple, mais je pense que c'est encore $1, je suis pas sûr. Bon, j'ai assez bu de café aujourd'hui, fait en étant sur le budget, je peux attendre, patienter pour que je rentre chez nous, je vais en prendre un autre. Bon, la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, tout cet argent-là, ça va mettre en circulation une nouvelle monnaie. UI. U point unité, un point échange, U point universel. On ne s'ostinera pas, en anglais c'est pareil. Puis là, je monte sur la montagne, mon Westmount. Avec cet argent-là, on va faire bien des choses. Rebâtir l'infrastructure du Québec, rebâtir l'infrastructure de l'Amérique du Nord, bâtir plus de centrales, bâtir bien des ponts, rebâtir l'infrastructure, bâtir d'autres centrales de l'Hydro-Québec. On va faire tellement de bien. Puis la défense, l'armée du dragon, l'armée du citoyen intégré de la défense de l'Amérique du Nord, mes initiatives, mon rêve, le royaume de la déesse et du dragon qui danse est fondamentalement un appel pour un partenariat public-privé pour bâtir, construire la pyramide écarlate rouge, la maison du dragon avec le palais du peuple arc-en-ciel pour ma communauté LGBTQ, le temple de la déesse oubliée, ou le temple de la déesse aux milliards, 1 million, 1 trillion de noms, et bien sûr, bâtir le Colisée du peuple non-américain impérial, puis je fais appel à Donald Trump pour me combattre dans un combat de boxe, c'est bien ça qu'on fasse, bien sûr, pour en faire dans ces choses primordiales. Pour en faire une affaire dans ce monde primordial. Et donc, en faisant appel à tous et toutes, prêter allégeance les gens, les étoiles. Donc, prêter allégeance les gens, vous êtes famille, et puis, bien sûr, dans ce point de convergence, on va rebâtir plus de centrales d'Hydro-Québec, financer les gens l'entraînement physique, financer le tourisme. On va faire bien des choses pour le bien commun. On va faire bien des choses ensemble de côte à côte. Pour la défense, la sécurité et le service, mon rêve, c'est fondamentalement un appel Un partenariat public-privé pour l'Union de l'Amérique du Nord dans une république démocratique. Oh, l'Amérique du Nord, le collectif. Mon rêve, le rêve de votre dragon arc-en-ciel. Le royaume de la déesse du dragon qui danse. Eh oui, prêtez allégeance les gens, vous êtes famille, les amis avec bénéfice seulement. Merci pour me comprendre. Rock'n'roll, bilingue. Let's go. Rock'n'roll, bilingual as I go. Up the mountain, up the snow. Up the mountain, rock'n'roll. And I still got a few hours until I get back to my headquarters. J'ai encore des heures à la marche. D'ici jusqu'à chez nous, de loin. La métropole l'île. Je vous embrasse, bisous avec des chatouilles. Comme les arbres, les aigles qui se cachent. De la belle province, les corbeaux qui dansent. Dans la neige, les montagnes, de la neige, ça plane. Ils sont dans le déneigement, regarde. Hey, let's go for the you. For the truckers and the bakers and the butchers and the bakers and the nurses and the doctors. Gotta give some those flipping burgers. Hamburgers and be that cheese. Hamburgers that be believe. That you and me that we the squeeze. You know that I heard a please. For the please going up the mountain. That you know we frown a pound. A little bit of pound per pound. Gonna give it up and down. You know I go up and that's the sound. For the kisses and the hugs. For you know the God believe that was love. That's the love, the harmony. So you gotta know you be. For the who, the tired of the harmony. That's the energy, that 3, 5G, 4G. Satellites up in the sky, that starlight. For the God that's got the kisses. Bless the temple, that's the with it. And you know we gotta see. For the rock and roll to be. Pour le rock and roll, il faut qu'on fasse. Encore, on a de la danse. Et bisous, chatouille. Puis que ça fasse bien ça mouille. Et regarde bien ça blâne. Pour encore bien ça danse. Mais ça danse tous ensemble de côte à côte. Coast to coast, ocean. We gotta get it true, no strong and free. For that love up in the seas. You know that we pray to believe. For the name up in the 44. That's galore. Kisses by the tree and scores. Trees by the tree and scores. You know that's believe up in the lead. So you know up in the bees. Bees the trees. So you know harmony bees. So another kisses. For the love and for the kisses. For the harmony, you know we whip it. Whip the cream, I'm in the sea. See it. See it to believe it. Like the rock and roll, you know we be it. And another plea you see. And another CUD, throw the dice up and don't gamble. Et je bête pas, je fais pas de... Je gage pas. Je suis à la danse, ben des pas. Mais regarde, pas, repose. Ça a besoin d'autre de l'amour. Et encore, ben ça danse. Et là, nous, la belle province. Ben amour, ben des chatouilles. Tout en transe, ben ensemble. Une maison de lave, guitare. Ça se lave les mains, les bisous. Du vin rouge, ben ça coule. Ça mélange avec le blanc. Le vin de chez nous. Chez nous, chez moi. Bienvenue. C'est une grotte. Et ça chante de la belle Québec, Montréal, les pas en avance, transe, danse. Quelqu'un qui part, les clics, ça danse, rouge, que j'aime ma danse. Ben, regarde, l'arc-en-ciel, ben de la neige. Au bout, that's the rock and roll you see. That's the snow in the mountain bee. I'll be another kiss and trees. So you know you listen this. Listen to this up in the rock and roll, shake those hips. Listen to this, you in the rock and roll, you shake those hips. Listen to this, you shake those hips. Rock and roll, you know you gotta kiss. Kiss and hiss and snow you bliss. Let's go left and right up in the harmony. For the coast to coast, you know you see. Coast to coast, you know you be. For another love, you see the harmonies. On the toes, you know we throw. For the red up in the rock and roll up in the plains. That's the mountain, that's the same insane rock and roll for the saints. What a goddess is up in the plain, the lanes. Bury me with Papa Crowley, Hampton, that New Jersey. I say, what? Bury me with Papa Crowley. I've been Hampton, that New Jersey. Bury me with Papa Crowley. I've been Hampton, that New Jersey. that the priestess or the goddess, that's the blessing, that's the starlet. That we got the lessons for the bit up in the lesson. Say, gotta give that sex in the scorpions, gotta give us sex in the scorpions, gotta be that 18 plus, that's loose and let it loose, up in the loose, lose yourself in the LOV. That's the no sex, hex, gotta kisses with consent, freestyle rock and roll, that's what I said, freestyle rock and roll, that's what I said, freestyle rock and roll, c'est du rock and roll en mode libre, fait que je chante pas les chansons que j'ai écrites, que j'ai composées, je suis juste librement, la création libre. Je suis un artiste en difficulté financière, donc tenez compte, un artiste financier, tenez compte. Les comptes à compte, que ça danse, puis ça danse, ça regarde, puis ça danse, puis ça fasse le déneigement. Soyez prudents quand on tourne. Pour en faire, rien savoir, si vous ne parlez pas d'amour, je deviens sûr, belle à l'avance, pour la belle province, puis ça danse, ben de regarder des corbeaux que ça fasse, de la ex-fille de la garde, pour en face, ben ensemble, pour la XY à danse, pour la belle province danse, ben en transe, ben ça lance, ben la langue, ben en hausse, puis ça fasse, ben... Ça colle, ça roule, ça colle, et regarde, technique Hydro-Québec, ça lance des plaines. Ben ça c'est ce des fromages, ben ça c'est ce beau dommage, beau dommage. Ben la fuck, ça danse, regarde le camionneur ça avance, ça travaille, ben la neige que ça déneige, ben la neige ça déneige, ben la neige ça déneige. J'ai encore un couple de secondes. Il y en a 7 que je compte, il y en a 7 que je roule. Il y a bien du travail qu'il faut qu'il fasse, bien du travail qu'il faut qu'il fasse. Bien ensemble, bien du travail qu'il faut qu'il fasse. Encore, ben regarde, encore, ben regarde. Encore, ben regarde. Un beau camion, il est rouge. Un beau camion, ben il est rouge. Un beau camion, ben il est rouge. Un beau camion, ben il est rouge. Et regarde, que ça danse, ben regarde, ben ça lance. Ben regarde, ben ça danse. Et regarde, ben ça lance. Et regarde, ben ça fasse. Et ça fasse, ben de l'histoire. Ben chez nous, la belle province. Ben regarde, ben l'histoire. Ben regarde, ben l'histoire. Ben regarde, ben histoire. Histoire. Historique. Ben regarde, ben histoire, ben regarde, ben histoire. Let's go. Sing it in the snow we blow, sing it in the snow we go, sing it in the snow we drove, sing it in the snow. With that good rock and roll, on the go and on the flow, for that party on the go. Gotta get it left and right, for the upset, the scene we know we right, the offsets we know we right. Upset, we know we hide. That's the metal. Gotta move up in the pedal. Got it through North Strong and Free. That's you know where you be. That's you know where you be. Gotta look and right and see. Gotta look and right and see. Dragon Rainbow, that's just me. On the plains ready to sail, going a little bit on the plains, be careful on the roads, that's what I said. Soyez prudents bien sur la route. Soyez prudents bien sur la route. Que soyez bien sur la route. Ben regarde, ben ensemble. Oup! La lumière, ben regarde. Lumière, ben ça avance. Lumière, ben ça danse. Lumière, ben ça avance. Lumière, ben ça rouge. Lumière, ben ça bouge. Lumière, ben ça rouge. Lumière, ben ça bouge. Lumière, ben ça bouge. Lumière, ben ça bouge. Lumière, ben ça rouge. Lumière, ben ça rouge. Lumière, ben ça avance. Lumière, ben en transe. Lumière, ben regarde. Hey, let's go see that light. See that other side. Hey, let's go get that snow. Let's go get the snow. Let's go get the snow. Somebody gotta sing that rock and roll. It ain't all about the millionaires playing that athletes on the go. It's not all about Wall Street. Sometimes you just gotta get it for the public-private partnership. Sometimes you just gotta get it For the public-private partnership, sometimes you just gotta get it. For the public-private partnership, sometimes you just gotta get it. For the public workers, I'm the snow removals. Pour les salutations qui fassent, les travailleurs publics, et que ça danse, et que ça danse, et que ça transe. Bien encore la belle province, et que ça sens, et ça sens, sans lance, et sans sens. Let's go. Gotta give it for you know, gotta give it for you throw it in the snow, you know, let's go. Ooh, that's beautiful, so you know, that's nice. Et c'est beau ça, comment c'est fait. I like it. Almost didn't see it. With the black and the white is good. With the black and the white is good. Avec le noir puis le blanc, c'est ensemble. Là, je l'ai pas vu. Good job. Bon travail. Gotta give it for the hands up. Gotta give it for the clap up. For the, you know that we sing it on the rock and roll. Et le rock and roll qui s'avance, ça descend. Puis la neige, 2025, that February 2025. You know you gotta see, you know you gotta be, you know you gotta see me and you. See another kisses with the light, there's a shadow where there's a light. There's a shadow where there's a light, there's a shadow. Où qu'il y a une lumière et un ombre, qu'il y a une lumière et un ombre. Où qu'il y a une lumière et un ombre. La gauche, la droite, left or right. You don't see it out of sight, you don't see it out of sight. Left or right, that's the sight. Left or right, that's the right. We're gonna sing it, that's polite. We're gonna sing it, that's the sight. We're gonna sing it, that's the right. We're gonna swing it, that's the go. That's what I said, so that you know. What is rock and roll? Let's go for that rainbow, that machine up in, let's go. Let's go for that flavor up the know. For the brains up in, let's go. Good job. Red, my favorite color de travail. This is in action here, Montreal, Island. Montreal, Hawk Island in action, man. Oh yeah, rock and roll, here it is. This one's for them, ça c'est pour les autres. This one's for you, all of you across Montreal, march for you. La marche pour vous autres, tous ceux qui font le déneigement rock and roll. Logistics, man. Snowstorm, man. Yeah. Magic. Oh yeah. Lots of work to do. That's it. That's one's for them in action there. Rock and roll, I guess I'm gonna sing a little sweetie, shorty, sweetie. Vous l'avez vu en action. You saw it in action, This one's for them, all of the public workers actually of North America, including those across Montreal who do that déneigement with brains and muscle avec du cerveau puis des muscles qui font le déneigement. Let's go! You know we sing it dancing in the snow through Canada and through North. Strong and free, liberty, LOVE. In the snow so that you see de l'amour et de la danse, de la neige. Pour l'arc-en-ciel, bec sa face. Ben la province, puis la danse tous ensemble. Bec sa face, bec sa danse. Comme un fou, après la danse, puis la transe. Après la danse, allez. Let's go, you know we gotta give it some of that. Rock and roll and love and daddy. You know we got a lot of harmony. We gotta sing and swing it. In the snow, you know we gotta bring it. Dans la neige, il faut que ça danse. Les escaliers, ben ouais, la danse. Let's go, ça déneige. Let's go, give me some of that snow removal. Up and down, you know. Brains and muscle, gotta go and sing a song, sing along. Gotta break her, gotta see it, let's go, and gotta be it so you know. And another going dough, and another rope and rope, and another soap and soap, soap and soap. Gotta give me some dope, gotta give me some no. You know we gotta give it for the X and Y and leave this. So you know we're not been province, so you gotta sing it, swing it. So you know we gotta harmony up in the bring it. You know that we gotta kiss it, hiss it. So that you know we gotta bring it, we know you gotta sing it. For the left or right, you know we bring it. For the left or right, you know we sing it. For the left or right, you know we swing it. So you don't happen to miss it. So you don't happen to hit this. Millions of trucks gotta be it. Archangel, you know, gotta see it. For the left and right and sing it. For the left and right and sing it. For you know up in the sing it. Swing it up in the be it. Swing it up in the see it. Sevenfold. Vengeance 11-fold. May I be avenged 11-fold, just in case so that you know. Yeah, Rainbow Dragon, that's the law. 93 up in the scar. Avenge that sevenfold. La vengeance fonce. Faites les mathématiques. Vengeance fonce. Faites les mathématiques. Ouais.